Is middle age the end of your youth? Perhaps there's a decline that you become unrecognizable, especially at your reunion, your 50th reunion or 30th reunion. Is that what your reality is and what you expect? Or could it be the gateway to your most vibrant and powerful self? Well, today in the classroom, which I am like my goal is that the second part of that statement is true for my life as well. So today we have holistic health coach Andrea Beaman, and she will share how to nourish our body, balance our hormones, and protect that joy all the way into your until you take that final breath. Joy, happy, healthy, and beyond middle age. And so today we're going to learn a lot. So take out your pencils and your paper because we're going to learn and grow together.
And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
Hi, my name is Lily McDermott, and I am a certified life coach, a certified holistic cancer coach, and the host of the Lily McDermott radio show. If this is your first time into the classroom, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide natural ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Yes, as we enter middle age and as we consider ourselves middle age, many of us say, oh, it's because I'm getting older. My knees are popping, my back hurts, I can't bend over anymore because I'm getting older. But is that real? Is that what you're manifesting in your life? Do you want to create a different conclusion to that manifestation? Well, in order to do that, we need to change the way we think. We also need to educate ourselves that that ain't true. And I am so excited because we have Andrea Beaman, who's been in the classroom. I don't know, probably since 2015, she's been coming into the classroom. I have to check that one out. And I'm excited because she's here today. And since there's our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful that Andrea Beaman is here to do just that. Welcome, Andrea. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, I'm glad too. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you in the classroom.
I know. I wish we could do that more. I wish you could lived a little closer
Oh,
into Florida because I know you're all the way in New York and we had this conversation about New York, but I'm glad that you are loving living in New York. It's nice to hear that other side of the
mm.
people who choose to be happy regardless of where people think they're at. So share a little bit about your background and welcome to the classroom about how you not only became a holistic health coach, I know you're a celebrity chef, and that you also now are focused on middle age.
Ah, well, I got into health and wellness through sickness, like the way a lot of people get to health and wellness, right? They wait until the body screams loudly that you
Yeah.
have to take care of me before they say, okay, maybe I'll cook for myself. Maybe I'll take care of myself. Maybe I'll go to the gym. So for me, it was a thyroid disease that brought me to the kitchen and to learning how to take care of myself. And that was transformational because what happens when you start to take care of yourself and you see the results, you become empowered. And one of the great things about middle age and beyond is that you step into your power more strongly. You know, somebody can say to you, oh, that won't work, or oh, this won't work, or organic schmorganic, right? Whatever they say. But when you reach a certain age, your wisdom years, as we age, we become wiser. Then you step into that wisdom and you say, I hear what you're saying, but I don't need to absorb that. I don't need to follow that line of thinking. So for me, healing my thyroid disease was my first step toward taking care of myself, empowering myself with that knowledge and really utilizing it and then sharing it with the world. Because one of the things that I believe humans want to do is share goodness. I know that on the social feeds, everybody's sharing all the crap and all the nonsense that's going on, but there are also people that are sharing wellness and goodness and
Mhm.
happiness and life affirming stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, the stuff that really makes you want to be here. Otherwise, who's going to want to be here? You want to
Yeah.
stay on the couch scrolling on your doom machine, right?
Then that manifestation will come true,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
But
So,
but Andrea, I want to before we move on from what you're saying, because I know that you have more to say, and I please hold that thought. When you talk about you enter your power more strongly,
mm,
I really want to maybe spend a little bit extra time with that because that is true for many of us. But you're talking about empowerment. You're
oh
talking
yeah.
about, being true to yourself, not becoming bitchier or bitter or angry because that could happen as well. And it could be misconstrued. It's like righteous
Mhm.
anger. So I want to plant that seed that, and if you want to go to that, finish what your thought is, and then go to that later on, I would like to talk about that too, because
Yeah.
people do have trapped emotions in there that
Mhm.
that can keep them from the joy that they want. But go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I like that you want to talk about empowerment because I believe, and this is my personal belief system,
Yeah.
that our entire system has been set up for disempowerment.
Hmm.
Right, that we're taught that our bodies can heal. We're taught that we don't have power to do the things that
Yeah.
we want to do. We're taught it's almost like we're taught from the get-go to remain little, a cog in the wheel, doing everything right according to the law, the rules, right? But I think that the human being is much more powerful than we have been led to believe. And we have even yet to tap into the capacity that we have. And I hold the space for that to develop as I age and go into my elder years. Uh, you know, uh, I wish that I'd known this stuff as a kid, right? But you learn as you go, and then that keeps developing your wisdom and your empowerment. And I think that if more people knew that they had the power, empowered, if they were more empowered to be in the world, they would there would be less victims everywhere that you look. There's a victim over there, there's a victim over there, there's a victim over there. But life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us.
I totally agree with that. I just wanted to hone in on that for just a little bit because,
Yeah.
I noticed that some people become
Mhm.
bitter as
Yeah.
they get older and they consider that, oh, I'm bold. I can say whatever I want. But it's coming from a place of anger and a place of fear
Yeah.
versus what you're talking about is coming from a place of love and joy. And so continue on with your
Yeah,
thought.
so if you're always downtrodden and if you're always a victim, you will be angry.
Mhm.
You will have animosity toward everyone and everything in the world. If you don't feel empowered, you won't have that joy. It can't live in that space. So I understand why people get bitter and angry and stay the
Yeah.
victim and this happened to me and that happened to me and all this stuff happened to me and they live in that downward spiral that
Mhm.
is not, I believe, not healthy.
Mhm.
It's okay to be angry. It's okay to have anger that comes up, but what are you going to do with that anger? Is that because anger is an energy? Are you going to take that anger and use it toward propelling yourself in a direction of change and positivity? Or are you going to take that anger and have it drag you down into the dumps of hell, right? Oh, this is hell on earth. So, anger, like I said, anger is an energy. So, what are you going to do with that energy? So, for me, when my mother died from cancer, or actually not cancer, from the treatments of cancer, is what I believe that she died from.
Thank you for that
That,
correction.
yes, it was the treatments of cancer. It was chemotherapy and radiation that killed her physical body and her spirit.
Yeah.
And when that happened, I got angry. I got so angry. I was like, that what just happened was wrong on so many levels. And when my disease came, I said, I'm not going the route that my mom went through the medical establishment. I'm taking a different route. I'm taking a different route. There's another way. I know that there's another way because I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes. And 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 that became empowering. You know, the fact that I still have my thyroid, I'm not on medication for the rest of my life. That's not actually healing anything, but keeping me chained to a medication for the rest of my life, right? Which is what a lot of happens to a lot of people. They get put into that system and they stay in that system forever and ever and ever and ever until their last breath. And for some people, that works. Maybe. I haven't seen that. I think we're much better off using that system when we break a leg, you know, or they can, you know, put you back together. But as far as healing the body, I think that that system is just completely broken. And healing the body, mind, and spirit, like because I think that that system is just for the body and it neglects the spirit and the mind, right? It neglects the other parts and the emotional body. It neglects all of that. And you can't neglect that if you want to have a happy, healthy human being. You can't.
Well, when another thing that happens when you go that route is that it creates other problems.
Yes.
I'm just looking into some issues that someone that I know has, and as I'm looking deeper into it, it may be a side effect of medication.
Mm,
And so I can't say that. I can just point them to that and have them do the research with their practitioner, whoever is their coach.
yeah.
But that is true. It is true that, you got to learn, your mom chose a path, and there are people who choose that same path and they survive and they thrive, and
Mhm.
that's great with them. But there's other people who may be sensitive or allergic to chemo that aren't tested, and
Mm,
it destroys the body. It really does destroy the body. And especially if they decide to do it in a like 100% versus a
mhm.
smaller dose of it, like in a more homeopathic way.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that that's important that people know that they can choose whatever they want. But as we go into that middle age, we have a preconceived notion. Like you could have thought, my mom got cancer. I'm going to get cancer. My mom
Mm,
died. I'm going to die. So I'm just going to enjoy my life. I'm going to do whatever I want. And I'm going to promote death quicker because that's what we sabotage ourselves into doing. But
yeah.
what are some of the myths that people attribute to aging that are truly can truly change and be when you tweak some of the way we think,
Mhm.
we drink, we eat, we act, we sleep, we stress.
Mm.
How can you kind of guide us in the what are some of those myths?
Well, first, I want to take it right back to something
Mhm.
that you said, oh, you could have gotten you saw your mom got cancer and you could have said, oh, I'm going to get cancer too.
Correct. Which
And
people do. People do.
yes. And that is what is perpetuated. You know, like every single advertisement for breast cancer. If your mom had breast, you better go get your mammogram. You better go get checked out because you're on that road. And I even met a scientist, a doctor scientist, who, when I told her that my mom had breast cancer, because she had asked, hey, how did you get into this? And I was like, oh, my mom had breast cancer. And she goes, well, if your mom had breast cancer, you know, you got a 95% chance of getting breast cancer.
Oh
She
my
goes, you better go.
gosh.
I know you bet this
Oh
was
my
20 years
God.
ago or 25 years ago. She goes, you better go for a mammogram. And I said, I don't believe that that is the truth. And me and her got into a little, yeah, you know, like, how dare you question me was her understanding because I have all
Love you.
scientific data. And I said, I just don't believe that. I don't believe that. That's your belief system. It's not mine. And 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 that to me showed the amount of conditioning and programming that is entrenched in our society about specifically cancer 100%. Oh,
Mhm.
your mother had cancer, your father had cancer, this one had cancer. You better go get tested. You better go
Mhm.
get checked out. You better. right? But it's not necessarily true. And I know that we both know Bruce Lipton, right? Biology of belief. Our cells are listening to us and what we say. And if I even plant the notion in my mind, oh, well, my mom had cancer, I'm probably going to get cancer too.
Yeah.
I can guarantee that that's the route that my physical body is going to go down if that's my belief system. If I
Yeah.
believe that, because we're creating our experience here. So uh that I think in our society is a broken idea. It's an idea that's permeated the society,
Hmm.
right? And I don't think it's a healthy idea. I don't think it's a good idea. I think that it promotes $1 trillion industry. A trillion, you want to keep that industry going. That's the thought that you have to have in your
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Auntie had breast cancer. I'm next, right? That's the thought. Um,
And it
but
doesn't have to be breast cancer. It could be diabetes. It could
anything.
be some form of diagnosis. And and I believe that the medical system does promote that because when I ask for family history, I'm I'm not asking because I'm concerned you're going to get it. I'm concerned you're going to think you're going to get it.
Yes.
It's like, okay, so let's rewrite some of these programs because that's the way that I grew up.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
and
right.
and and I for some reason, I instinctively, I knew I could choose a different path.
Mm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
My mom dealt with weight all the time, most of her adult life. When she was young, when she married my dad, she was like 98 pounds, maybe, or 89 pounds. Very, very small and petite until she had her first pregnancy. And
Mm.
that was kind of like the thing that my mom would say, just wait till you get pregnant. Just
Oh.
wait till you get married. Just wait till and that kind of got planted
Mm.
in my seed. I'm like, no, I need to prevent that. And that was the thought. How
Yeah.
do I prevent it? How do
Mm.
I keep myself from having to deal with all these diseases
Mm.
by just learning on what not to do? Because
Yes.
this is what now my mom has advanced dementia.
Mm.
But the ironic part was that once we took over her nutrition, her diabetes went away. Why, Andrea? Why would the diabetes go away?
Well, according to Western medicine, it's a miracle. It's a
It's
fluke.
a yeah, it's a fluke. Yeah. Let's not look at that. Nope.
Don't look that way. Yeah. But that is, it's one of the direct ways that we can change the physiology of the physical body is by being very conscious about what we put into it,
Mhm.
right? If I'm putting in alcohol and cigarettes or junk food or crap food, I'm creating that internally. My cells are breaking that stuff down and it's going to create my system and it's going to create my body and my
Mhm.
mind and my spirit and all that. So just by simply changing her diet, getting her off the food that she was eating and putting her onto something new,
Yeah.
you literally changed her physiology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how, and I know it's because I've been doing this for 30 years, but I don't know how that is still part of the consciousness collective that our food doesn't really make a difference. Right? I don't know how it's still there, but it
Yeah.
is. It is. I still have people say to me to this day, does that really matter what you eat?
Well, you know what? And okay, let's dissect that one too, because that's a part of the myth. Let's dissect that as a myth. So
Yeah.
when people says, does it really matter what you eat?
Mm.
Okay, if I'm going to eat something that I'm stressed, even if it's good for
Mhm.
me, that may not nourish my body.
That's
And
right.
if I'm eating something that may not be as good for me, and I'm happy as a clam, and I know that I don't do this every so often, I just do it maybe once in a while, will that hurt me as much as if I continue to do this every day in, day out, and then now that form of eating is going to create dis-ease. It's going to create inflammation in the body. That's going to create pain in the body. It's going to create a dissatisfied customer, because,
Yes.
so let's talk about that because, this is what I love about you. We just start talking. Although we have a plan, we just start talking because it was really true. People, that's the mentality. They tell me all the time, do I have to eat
Mhm.
that? No. you don't have to eat it. But do you want to be well?
Mm,
That's the question. And so,
mm.
what is your advice for people that feel stressed about eating the right thing, that they're such a strict schedule, because they want to be healthy, but they're stressing themselves in the process?
Oh, yeah.
That's the extreme.
It creates neuroses, right? It creates bad eating behaviors, like this is where you get orthorexia,
Ooh,
right? Yeah, orthorexia.
say more about that word. I've never heard of
Yeah,
that.
that's like eating so healthy that you can't eat anything
Oh, I
outside of
heard
that.
about that a long time. Somebody asked me if I was orthorexic because I had a juice. And I brought them juice. It was a
Oh, it's
medical
funny.
office, and I got myself some juice and I brought it for the office. And I'm
Mm.
talking about vegetable juices. I'm not talking about Tang or, Sunny D. I'm talking about like fresh squeeze, and I thought I'd bring it as a gift. Are you they use that word.
Orthorexic.
And I went home and I looked it up and I said, how rude. I brought them something healthy and they think that something's wrong with me. Okay, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I think that those people were not available for your gift. Your gift of your juice, they weren't available.
They wanted
Um,
donuts.
that's what they would have been like, "Yeah, we love Lillian. She brought us donuts and coffee."
She's recuperated. She's overcome her orthorexia.
Yeah, so that's the orthorexia is just as bad as the people who are unconscious about eating, right? So they're super conscious, hyper vigilant, and that creates dysfunction as well.
Yes.
Because if you are so stressed out about everything that goes into your mouth, you can't relax. And if you can't relax, you're not absorbing well. So you may fall into a state of deficiency. Like I had a client once who didn't go to eat with her family for 10 years. 10 years. No food with the family. How is that possible? It's because, oh, they use this oil and they don't eat organic, and she had every excuse possible, and she was lonely as heck.
Yes. And
Lonely.
loneliness is a early killer right there.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. She would have been better off going to her family's house and having whatever they had just to be a part of the community and
Or they
experience.
can bring their own food.
Yeah.
Why do they have to feed her or them? I bring my own food. If I know there's going to be a pig roast, I'm not
Yeah.
going to eat the pig. I know that for a fact. It's too similar to my DNA. So I choose not to do that. So
Yeah.
I will bring my own food. I don't expect anybody to feed me. And
Yeah.
right there, that victimizes people
Mm.
to continue with that righteous belief system.
Yeah.
So your advice to people well, because I think we got stuck on this orthorexia.
Orthorexia. Well, the advice
Yeah.
is to lighten up,
Okay. And
right? So,
how do you coach somebody as a health coach? How do you coach somebody to lighten up? And
well,
but
um,
food does matter. But
food does matter,
yes.
right? But it's not the end all be all, right? There are more things that we need to eat and absorb than just our food. We
Mhm.
need relationships, we need love, we need laughter, we need relaxation, right? We're absorbing all of that into our system. And if we're just always focused on the minutia, the food, right? This calorie count, that fat count, that whatever it is, then that will create stress, and stress will stop us from being happy and healthy. It'll also inhibit your ability to properly absorb the nutrition. So relax around food as much as possible and bless it. You know,
I love
I,
that.
yeah, bless it. Wherever you are, whatever it is, just thank you, universe. Thank you, God. Thank you for this meal that I'm about to receive. It's going to nourish me on some level, right? If your Aunt Lulu made a marshmallow mushroom cake, I don't know, made something you would never eat. Take one bite. It's not going to kill you. Not going to kill you, and it'll make her so happy, right? And then that joy will exude from her as well, right? You'll be in community, which is really important.
Being in community is so important.
So
That right
important.
there. So when we eat and you see these centenarians in Italy or in some other place, and they're surrounded by
Yeah.
laughter and family because they still feel a part of the community. They don't
Yeah.
feel forgotten and put aside. So
Mm.
that is important that we create that for ourselves too. We can't
Yes.
just make people invite us. when we're just angry as heck. We need to just, create that, be invitation, invite people to your home.
That's right.
And then you can decide what you want to eat and let them decide what they want to bring. But so what would be another thing? Because food is not the end all be all, because if it
Mm.
were true, then everybody would be able to eat a vegan diet and or a, carnivore diet or a Mediterranean diet and never get anything wrong with them. But
Mhm.
there's so many other variables. So what are some of the other myths when it comes to aging and middle age, like misery?
Oh, poor
Middle
misery,
age misery, middle age misery,
middle-aged
the
misery.
three M's.
Well, one of the things is that we have to get very clear that the only permanent thing in this lifetime is change. So as you're going through the process of aging, and you see a wrinkle, or you see a little gray hair, or you see these things, it's just part of the process of aging. You're not going to be here forever. You're going to be in a body for a limited period of time and love that body at every single stage of your life and just take the best care of it as you can. You had mentioned the centenarians in Italy and in the blue zones, right? Uh, there's more to life than them sitting down to a meal. They're gathering with people, they're exercising, usually walking on a daily basis, right? So we also need to move our body. You could be eating the best food in the world, but if you're not moving your body, what's happening to your circulatory system and your lymphatic system? And like our bodies are meant to move, they're meant to dance, they're meant to flow. So we can't just sit on the couch and watch Netflix all day long. That's not healthy.
You'll
You're
lose your
not,
butt. You lose
yeah,
your butt muscles too.
that's right. You lose your
Like,
butt
what am I doing
muscles.
back there?
You'll get even angrier at your body.
Yeah.
Right, as it gets all misshapen, and you're like, where did this come from? But there are people that are in their hundreds and 90s that are still exercising and still walking every day and getting out and getting some sunshine. So you need to move, move, whatever it is. Like one of my clients says that he has his mother-in-law is 98 years old.
Oh,
And he's like, she goes to the pool with the girls and she's doing this activity, she's doing that activity. She's staying active.
yeah.
And we live, unfortunately, in a sedentary society. And we're programmed, unfortunately, for that exact society. From the time that we're a kid in school, the bell goes off, boom, you sit in the desk for 9 hours or 8 hours for the day, right? You're there for the whole day and then you move, right? I remember when I was growing up, we had a gym. You would get up, it was like
Yeah.
3 times a week, you'd have this gym, this activity, and then they cut it out of the New York school program. Like, I
Mhm.
guess it was like 5 or 10 years ago. I'm like, my mind exploded. I'm like, how can you cut out
Yeah.
gym? Kids have to move. They have to move their little bodies and they have to get into the habit of moving their little bodies so that they stay moving throughout their whole life. Otherwise, nutrients aren't going to get where they need to go. Like I said, lymphatic system's not going to flow. Circulatory system is going to be compromised. The whole system's going to be compromised. So they need to move every period of your life. From the time that you get out of the little womb and you're squirreling around, right? And then you start walking, right? And then you start riding a
Running.
bike, right? We need movement. It's very important. And I have another friend who hops on one of those machines that moves her
The
without her movement.
plates, the vibration plates. I have a rebounder. I have a
Oh,
tiny little
good.
mini trampoline and it's underneath my bed. I need to get it out.
Good. But I was going to talk
Enough
about that
already.
plate, right? So the plate I think is good because it's shaking your lymphatic system, but she's just still just standing there. She's not like on a trampoline, you're actually doing the work, right?
Yes, yes,
You're
yes.
jumping. So there's more momentum there. And on those plate things, those are great for shaking up the lymphatic system and all, but you're still just here like this and it's moving for you. And I saw her last week and she's like, I don't know why my physical body's not changing. I don't know why. I said, okay, you just can't hop on the plate and think that that's going to do
Yeah, you need that
everything for
muscle
you.
toning, right? Is that part of exercise, you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. And the
interesting.
more muscle you have, the stronger your bones will be as you age.
And the less fractures, right? If you
That's
fall.
correct.
Okay, because it strengthens your bones, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, I just
Yes.
want to clarify that because, we learn these things incorrectly when we're children,
Yeah.
and as we get older, we kind of like have to learn these new truths because if
Yeah.
not, then we will what we see in our parents. Like if my thing is, if you look at
Mhm.
your parents and you think that, man, they did it right. They were healthy till the moment they took their final breath and they died of natural causes. And, gosh, try to figure out what they did so
Yeah.
that you can bring that more into your life. Because I always say that what we inherit is not the genes so much. Yes, we do have them, but what we inherit are the family recipes, the
Yeah.
stress, the way we handle and talk
The
to each other, and
habits.
yeah, the habits. That's what we do inherit. And so, but if you're a parent like my parents, my dad ascended almost a year ago,
Wow.
in September, and September 3rd.
Mm.
And so I was thinking about that today, and I'm going, wow, oh my
Mm.
gosh, it's almost a year. I can't believe this happened. Now he was 93,
Yeah.
but the quality of his life towards the end was not good. And
Mm.
then my mom is 91. She just turned 91, but she has dementia, but she is strong as an ox. Can you imagine if she
Mm.
would have protected her life and her health during this time, what her life could be? So they were really
Mhm.
good teachers.
Yeah.
So I've decided that I want to do something different. And I made the conscientious decision. I know that you're younger than me. I don't know if you've made this decision yet, but when I turned 50, Andrea, I wanted the second part of my life to be better than the first one. It was
Yeah.
something that clicked in me. What about with you? When was that moment for you that I'm not gonna, like you say, sorry, I don't espouse those belief systems, you know?
Yeah. Well, it started for me at 28. That's
You're
when
much younger than me. Yeah.
everything shifted, and I'm 57 now.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm 58. What year
Oh,
is
this
it?
is 2025.
25. All right, 20. All right,
We're
57.
not even going to talk about the mindset it's a memory loss that people think it comes with aging. It has nothing to do with this. You just had a moment.
I had a
You had a
moment. I'm
moment.
actually 39.
I love it. I am 39 too.
Yeah. And somebody just sent me a fun little video of a guy talking about birthdays. And when we celebrate birthdays every year, we're actually putting a spell on us to age. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting.
No.
I was
Not
like,
my
that's so interesting.
birthdays. My birthdays are to have fun and
At
celebrate.
parties.
Maybe too much. I celebrate too much. I celebrate from May 1st. My birthday's May 14th. Celebrate from May 1st to December 30th. And then I give it a break and from December 31st to April 29th, whatever it is, April 30th. So, yes, that's my mentality. So I want to celebrate everything. I want to celebrate
Yeah,
life. And I think that that's an important thing as well.
I
So,
agree.
when it comes to the mind and
Mind.
keeping the mind active, that is another thing that people say all the time. And I
Yes.
remember I was interviewing Marissa Pierce. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's a world-renowned coach that coaches people to, and and interviewed her, and she set me straight on something that I had been manifesting for a long time. And I didn't realize I was manifesting until she mentioned it because Robert, even my husband, manifested that as well. He would
Hmm.
affirm it, and which is, I was forgetful. Oh, I'm so forgetful. Oh, I'm so forgetful. And I believe that many people believe that as you get older, you become forgetful.
Mhm.
Well, Marissa gave me this tip that I will forever love her for it. And she said, change that to I remember everything.
Yeah.
That was life-changing for me. And even when I would leave something behind and I would leave for the day, and then all of a sudden I would come in and Robert would say, "What'd you forget?" I said, "I remembered that my keys are still up here." So, I mean, that really took a lot of reprogramming so
Yeah.
that I can start embracing that I would remember things
Yeah.
because I'm dealing with a mom who is
Mhm.
very severely demented. And so, what about for you? How do you coach people as far as the mind goes? Because that's a myth too, that as we get older, we're going to lose our mind.
Yeah. So part of it is for the mind, you have to get great sleep, good sleep.
Oh,
Um, because your
good
your
point.
mind, we have our lymphatic system, but we also have our glymphatic system. And when you're sleeping, the cerebral spinal fluid washes over the brain and clears the debris. But it only happens during very restful sleep. So I if someone's worried about the health of their mind, it's imperative that they get good sleep. And if you've ever had sleepless nights, the following day you're not as focused, you can't concentrate as good. It definitely impacts the health of the brain. But also, just like I said, we have to move the body and keep it active. We have to keep the brain active. So I'll give an example. For me, I love crossword puzzles. I love playing Wordle. I like word games, right? Because it keeps my mind active and working because I could certainly sit on this thing and let it do all the working for me. And when I'm on the phone, I'm letting it do all the work for me. Or I can use my brain and I can solve puzzles. I can do math. I every morning when I get up, I journal because I know that the act of putting pen to paper also stimulates the brain. So we have to do things to actually stimulate and keep the brain active. It could be learning something new, learning a language, taking a new trail. Uh, you know, uh, if you take the same route every day, that's great, but maybe switch it up once in a while. Try a new block. The other day, actually, for the past 2 weeks, I've been trying to get around upstate New York without the GPS.
You know what? We have been programmed to just be so lazy. We don't have to remember addresses. We don't have to remember phone numbers. We don't have to remember even how to write anymore
That's
because
right.
we're being corrected all the time. But keep going.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Like it's interesting. Like my husband will use Chat GPT for some things. And he said, "Oh, let me
Dangerous.
let him create this thing for you." And he created something for me. And I went in and I said, "Well, that's not the way an actual human being would talk." I said, "I wouldn't say this, I wouldn't say that. I'd put this, I'd put some emotion in there." Right? It would be very different. And when I went to change the way that a human would talk as they wrote, it kept trying to correct me and tell me that I was wrong.
Oh.
And I said, no, this little chat GBT is not for me. I said, I'll continue doing all my writing and write the way that I speak. Because for me, that creates a better, deeper experience for the people that are reading it. And I know so many people right now that are using AI and Chat GPT, insane everywhere. And they just came out with a study. I believe it was a Harvard study on 4 months of using AI or Chat GPT, and the brains had already started to atrophy.
Oh man, I knew that. I knew that would happen. Yeah.
Crazy,
And Andrea, it's
crazy.
it's funny because Robert and I love to play games, and when we're like that's fun things that we do, and I love to play Yahtzee. And I
Ah,
remember when we first, like just recently, I noticed I'm using my phone for calculating how much my score is, and I'm going to beat him, and I stopped doing that.
good.
I just stopped doing that. I said, you know what? I need to add it up myself. Why am I relying on it? Because because I really do believe that
Mm,
these advancements that are intended to kind of maybe like make our life easier
mm,
is making our life harder and more difficult as we get older so that
yeah.
we can manifest like I'm losing my mind.
Mm,
So that's one of the things. And I do want to talk about the classroom right now, but I do want to, as we when I'm done talking about the classroom and the summit that we're going to be having soon, I really want to talk about your formula for living a happy, healthy life well into our midlife and beyond. And so for now, I just want to encourage all of you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. This is where we take ownership for our life. This is where I stopped being a victim and understanding that these are things that we do that have prices and payoffs. And what are those for us? What are we losing? What are we missing out on by not living our life to the fullest? So continue growing with us at whenyounneedafriend.com. Go to our website, and while you're there, please subscribe, like and follow us on social media. Tell your friends to watch this and just have a conversation about what are your myths? What are your belief system about middle age and beyond? And so do that and share it with your friends, write emojis, because we want to make sure that the algorithms don't gobble us up. Let's help us by making sure that you make comments and that you engage. That way, the algorithms cannot eliminate this information. Yeah, sure, go ahead and rely on whatever technology is making your life easier, but also make sure that you're doing things to keep your mind refreshed. So
Mhm.
go to whenyounneedafriend.com, like I said, and check out my sponsors, check out my Shop Now bag. It's like Lilly approved products from head to toe, from makeup to pain management. Also, coming up in November 1st, which is right around the corner. I can't believe it. Right around the corner, November 1st, in beautiful Florida. I want you to consider coming to the I Am the Solution. The I Am is the God, that power in us. I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit for cancer and autoimmune dis-ease. That's DYS hyphen ease. Because we need to figure out how we can become our own MD, our own medical detectives, so that we can with our practitioners, make a plan so that all these myths about aging go away. You realize that you can do something about it. And so make sure that you check out when you go to whenyounneedafriend.com, click on the pop-up and start your journey to coming down to Florida on November 1st. Last but not least, you can become an enrolled student in the classroom. We are funded by all of you who are watching, and this is free programming, but it costs me a lot to get this going. So I encourage you to become an enrolled student in the classroom, whether it's $1 or $1,000 a month, a one-time donation of your time, your talent, your treasure, whatever the case might be. All of it is very much appreciated. And so today you get the privilege of learning, and so do I, of learning with Andrea Beaman. Andrea Beaman has been a treasure to the classroom for many, many years, and I truly enjoy all our conversations that we've had. And so you can find her at andreabeaman.com. andreabeaman.com. She has incredible books that will help you be healthy and happy as well. So Andrea, I'm so grateful that you're here. You could be anywhere else, but you choose to be here to share your wisdom. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I always love hanging out with you, Lily.
And I love hanging out with you. We need to do it more often. Okay, so today's class is really about our
Mm,
formula, your formula, whatever it is
mm,
for that happy, healthy life in middle age. Because I remember when I was younger, I will
mm.
tell you, I was so afraid of getting older.
Oh,
And as after I've entered my 50th, now my 60th year, I'm 62. I'm like, I hear all my friends that are just a little bit younger getting, nothing that there's wrong with that, but lifting and tucking and doing all that. And maybe there's a place for that in my life someday. But for now, I'm thinking, I ignore it. I don't turn around anymore. I just look at my body. I love my body, flaws and all. But when I was younger, I didn't. I
mm.
didn't. So, what can you say is the formula as we enter middle age and beyond to be that happy and healthy?
Well, I think that you hit the nail on the head. Acceptance is the first stage, right? So when you were younger, you were thinking, oh, no, this is terrible. I can't. But now you're like, here I am, and I am fabulous, right? Acceptance is big.
Yeah.
So if you can accept yourself, it's easier to be with yourself, and then you'll be happier. But if you're always beating yourself up, you didn't do this, you look like that, you got this, you're paunchy, whatever it is, right? You didn't eat the right thing, even that self-talk can put you down into a negative spiral. So I think that do the best that you can with everything that you can as
Mhm.
often as possible. And that could mean that you eat good quality food for the majority of the time, that you take
Yes.
a daily walk on most days, that you work your mind and you hang out with your community and you play games with your husband or your family or your friend, right? Just to keep the inspiration, keep the light, keep the heart lit and pumping and flowing and growing and connecting. Because if we're not connecting with ourselves and with each other, then this life becomes, who wants to age? Oh God, aging. I got to spend another 20 years here, 30 years here, 40 years here. It's going to be a terrible chore. But instead, if you connect on that deep level, right? To your heart, to your community, to your God, to your universe, to the earth that you're living on, if you connect, then I think that that's going to make you want to be here to the best of your ability. You know, you'll want to take care of yourself. But when we're not connected, we don't want to take care of ourselves. We don't want to take care of other people as well, right? That's where, it's interesting. If we look at what's going on in the world on a bigger scale, and you see all of the crime and the war and this is people that are disconnected from each other
Yeah.
as humans, right?
Mhm.
But it doesn't start there. The disconnection starts here,
Mhm.
right? So when we connect with ourselves, it's easier to connect with other people in our experience here on the planet, I believe. And I think taking care of yourself is right top priority. Top priority. Start here and let it emanate outwards. And then aging will be like, oh yeah, I'm going through this life I love. I want to spend time over here, spend time over there, right? Spend time. And I can spend more time and healthier, happier time when I'm feeling good.
You mentioned it, and we're going to go there. The all the drama and trauma, everything that's
Mm,
happening in the world today. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of craziness out there. There's, lots of victims
mm,
that are victimized by people that perhaps maybe they have mental illness. Perhaps
mm,
maybe the medication interaction is causing such horrible behaviors. But let's be honest. I used to, I know you write, I used to write for Florida Today. And they said to me when I first started writing for them, Lily, if it bleeds, it leads.
oh,
If it bleeds, it leads. If you listen to the news all the time, you're going to hear all the things that are wrong. And
yeah.
that's why I love doing what we're doing here today, because we're saying, no, some of these things are right. There is a lot of peace in the world. We see what we're looking for. If we're attracted to the bad news bears, we're going to feel very stressed. So what is
Yeah.
your advice for balancing that and how it causes your hormones to change, or what is,
Mm,
connected to the bad news that's happening in the world and listening to it over and over and over again?
yeah. Repetition, right? The repetition of it. I think that if people want to have repetitive stuff, they come here to the classroom, right? This should be on
Yeah,
repeat.
I love that. Thank you. And AndreaBeaman.com too.
Yeah, because that those news feeds and the media, just like you said, because I studied journalism as well
Hmm.
in college, and I know that sensationalism sells
Hmm.
100%, and what they want to do is sell that to you so that you keep showing up over and over and over and over again.
Hmm.
So instead, if you can input into your daily experience positivity, good vibes. Uh, like I said, the classroom, right? Lillian's classroom. This is the kind of stuff you want on repeat, right? You want in your feed. Um,
Rewrite the fear
yes,
with love. Rewrite the fear is what
yes.
I'm hearing you say. Go ahead,
Oh,
keep going.
totally.
Yeah.
I'm not in denial. I know that there are bad things happening in the world, but I also know there's good things happening in the world. But that's not making the front page of the news.
No.
No, it's like a little tiny blurb this big at the back of the newspaper,
Mhm.
right? The good news. So, I think it's really important that we're very conscious about what we're receiving into our eyes, into our ears, into our mouth, right? What we're receiving through our senses. It's going to dictate how you feel, what hormones are being released. I'm releasing oxytocin this whole time that I'm on with you.
Me
right?
too.
This is an oxytocin bomb.
And you know what? It's contagious. So hopefully the people that are listening to us or watching us either today or
Yeah.
tomorrow or in the future or whatever, they're feeling good too because it's
Yeah.
contagious.
Yes, it is. This is a good contagion.
Yeah. But you see, there should be a pandemic like this.
Yes.
Everybody's laughing. Everybody's getting along. People are creating
Uh,
win-win everywhere around the world. See,
yeah.
that to me, that would be, it starts with us. It really does
Yes.
start with us. So let's talk about your routine because you could have, with a mother that died of cancer, and
Mhm.
you could have had that limited belief that you were going to die of cancer. What is your routine for this happy, healthy life that you are thriving in right now?
Well, I mean, it starts with waking up in the morning and being grateful that I'm awake. I woke up on this side of the dirt. It's a good day. And then I'll get up and I'll stretch. I'll do my morning stretches to open up my meridian system and get all my energy flowing. And I will journal. I'll journal in the morning and I'll write down all the things that I'm grateful for and all the things that may be bugging me that I need to work on, right? I'll get all that stuff out. And then I'll sit and I'll connect with the universe, right? For me, it's meditation. For some people, it's prayer. So I'll sit and I'll meditate because I need to quiet my mind because there's a lot of stuff out there that wants to get into my mind that I may not believe, right? But if I get in here first, and clear out all the stuff, then I'm able to receive what I need to receive to make my day work. And then, of course, delicious, nourishing food throughout my day. I'm very conscious about that. I don't want animals or vegetables or fruits that have been abused and put chemicals on, and I don't want any of that inside my system. So I'm very conscious about my food, and I'm very clear that I need community. So I get out and I talk to my neighbors, and like you said earlier, I invite people over. I have dinners, I have brunches, I have lunches. I'm very conscious about that, and I'm doing work that I love. So that's keeping my heart full, and uh, and I think that that is part of living a happy and healthy life beyond middle age, right? Doing things that you love rather than grinding away at a job you hate, so, putting negative vibes into the world, right? You're doing something positive.
And I could just hear it now. Oh, that's because your life is perfect, Andrea. And Lily, just be quiet because your life is perfect too. But what about people that feel that everybody else has it better
Mhm.
than they do? When the reality is we suffer, we have moments where we have doubt,
That's
but
right.
it just doesn't, it passes just like these over the top excited moments versus the really difficult times.
Yeah.
They both pass the same. But which one do we want to hang on to? So what about with you? I mean, is your life perfect, Andrea?
Oh, well, I mean, it's perfect in the sense that this is the story that I'm creating about it.
Correct.
But but I even take the negative things and put them into a positive
That's
light,
right.
right?
That's right.
So 5 years ago, my sister died. She committed suicide and left two beautiful children on their own. So I could be the victim and I could say, oh my gosh, this is terrible, the worst thing that ever happened in the world. Or I could embrace those boys and take them and make them my own.
Mhm.
Right. So, how we choose to live our life and the stories that we create will put us in the direction that we need to go. Right. So, bad things happen and
Mhm.
crappy stuff happens. It
Yes.
happens all the time. But how can you reframe that and stay in the world? How can you reframe that while you're here? Would my sister want me to not take care of her boys, to put them in another home? Um, would she want me to have a terrible experience because she's not here anymore? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Uh, I know that she would want me to have a great experience and to give her children a great experience because she's not here to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to be able to take what happens in our life, reframe it, and make it work. Otherwise, we're not going to want to be here.
That is the bulk of my coaching. That's the bulk of life right there.
Yeah.
I really do believe that
Mm,
that right there is our key to happiness.
mm,
Reformatting the bad and embracing it all is good. And yeah, one would say, well, how is rape a good thing? And but you ask the question, if I had the option of my child getting raped or me getting raped, I would choose me every single time instead
Mm,
of my child. And you could even turn that around. And I
mm,
remember expressing that a long time ago in a talk that I gave, and there was a
mm,
person that had been in therapy for 30 years.
mm.
And that was it for her. She said, I now can see the beauty in it. I know every single action that a person, a pedophile has, and I protected my children.
Mm,
And she saw the beauty in it at that moment, that it was her and not her kids. And
yeah.
so, we can reformat everything in our life. And I really do believe that once we become experts at that, not
Mm,
Pollyanna, but to become an expert of being grateful. And one of my best stories, my favorite stories in the Bible, and I don't know if you know the story of Joseph, who was sold by his brothers and ended up, being in prison and a slave, and ended up becoming the second in charge of Egypt, Pharaoh's right-hand man. And when famine came, the brothers came to beg, and the brothers didn't recognize him, but Joseph recognized his brothers. And he looked at his brothers and he wanted to kill them all because of all the anguish that he had gone through all those years. But here he is, second in command. And he was able to find the beauty and the gratitude.
mm,
And when he confronted his brothers and told them who he was, the brothers thought for sure they're going to kill us and he's going to take revenge on us. And
mm.
he said these words, what you intended for harm, God intended for good.
Oh,
And I do believe that
sorry.
there are people that are trying intentionally hurt us, maybe not intentionally, and we've got to see the beauty in everything because it just makes us stronger people. And
Yeah.
so, any last minute words for someone who is listening today that may feel that they can't get there just yet?
Oh,
Forgiveness or whatever.
well, whatever it is, as long as you are here, alive and breathing, there is the opportunity to change. And as I said earlier, the only permanent thing in this lifetime is change. So if you can, step into that space and make some changes, whether it's changing your mind, changing your consciousness, changing your food, just be open to change.
Awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Andrea. You're the best. I really do enjoy every day, every time that you come into the classroom, and I miss when you're not here. So we're going to have to figure something out. Every time we do that, we say that the same thing. We need to come back. You need to come back sooner. And so thank you. Andrea Beaman is at andreabeaman.com. She has her groups that she helps, and she has her clients that she can help online as well. So thank you so much, Andrea. And
Thank you,
and
Lillian.
and for all of you who are tuning in today, I pray that something that we said today will touch your heart and encourage you to be the change you want to see in the world. And please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lily McDermott and Andrea Beaman wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever! Yay! Good job. Good
The
job.
opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.